IDW has recently completed its second MLP story arc. This time, the comic explores the character of Luna and the origins of Nightmare Moon. The story begins with the main six sleep-deprived after suffering from nightmares for several nights. And they get the idea to have a sleepover, hoping to ease their minds and help them rest. Instead, their nightmares are worse than ever, and Rarity is whisked away by a malevolent force. The main five, are then confronted by Equestria's rulers, Celestia and Luna, who informed them that the posh pony was taken away by the Nightmare Forces, which were the ones responsible for turning Luna into Nightmare Moon. Armed with this new information, the main five along with Luna travel to the moon to rescue Rarity, but arrive too late and discover that she has already been possessed and has taken the form of Nightmare Rarity. Much like the third season of the show, this arc has seemed to have left the fandom very divided. Some feel that it's no good at all, some like it but not as much as the Return of Chrysalis arc, and some think that it's the best thing to come out of IDW's MLP line. My stance is that it's the best story that these comics have produced, and I would go so far to say that I'd put this arc above any of the show's epic two-parters. Why do I put this arc at such a high pedestal? First, it expands on one of the show's most beloved, yet oddly enough underdeveloped characters, Princess Luna. Not only are we given an origin for Nightmare Moon, but we also delve into her character, specifically the secret guilt that she carries for her actions as Nightmare Moon, and the insecurities brought on by it. Another high point was the choice to make Rarity the villain, not only because she's one of the most multi-layered and nuanced characters in the show, but making one of the main six a villain removes the elements of harmony from the picture. Now this arc doesn't just expand on the characters, but the world of MLP as the heroes travel to the moon, and we get to see what exactly the moon is in this universe. And all these elements are woven into a 4-issue story arc that's fairly well paced, and steadily builds up to one of the most epic climaxes in all of MLP. So if the Nightmare arc is so awesome, why are fans so divided about it? Okay, to get into this, I have to delve into spoiler territory. So if you want to avoid that, jump to this part in the video now. The biggest complaint I've come across is continuity. Luna spends most of this arc in her Season 1 form until near the end, where she dons her Season 2 visage, leaving many to assume this arc is set somewhere between Friendship is Magic Part 2 and Luna Eclipsed, and that this explains her change in appearance. What's wrong with this assumption? Well, the story makes several references to events post-Luna Eclipsed. Specifically, Secret to My Excess, Read It and Weep, Magic Duel, and IDW's own Return of Chrysalis. So with so many glaring continuity errors, how could I possibly defend this story? Well, simply, they're not continuity errors. The story is just set somewhere in Season 3, after Magic Duel, but before Magical Mystery Cure. Then, why is Luna in her Season 1 form? Most likely it's because her powers are repressed by her insecurities and fears, that were brought on by the return of the Nightmare Forces. Since it's only after she overcomes these issues and accepts the forgiveness of the people of Ponyville that she takes her proper form and is at full power. Another common complaint is that stating that Luna was taken over by the Nightmare Forces absolves her of all of her wrongdoing as Nightmare Moon, which is somewhat true. It is implied throughout that the Forces used Luna's jealousy and anger to manipulate her, and that she allowed herself to be taken over, so she's not entirely off the hook. And in all honesty, I'm not sure why people would prefer Nightmare Moon to be a conscious decision on Luna's part, since that would mean that she's by default evil, and that the elements of harmony just rewrote her personality, which brings up some rather unsettling moral implications, because at that point what the main six did was the magical equivalent of lobotomizing Luna. So yeah, I'd rather go with the Pony Moon symbiote origin for Nightmare Moon than Luna was evil and reprogrammed explanation. And the final complaint I hear is the Deus Ex Machina ending, where the main five with Luna use the power of friendship and their memories of Rarity to purify her. Now, why don't I call bullshit on this? Well, what they did was really no different than how Twilight purified her friends in Return of Harmony Part 2. It's just that this was on a larger scale. Now, it's not to say that the story is without its problems. Though it's better paced than Return of Chrysalis, with each issue adding something new that moved the story along, the final issue wraps things up super fast, and has about 1 page worth of epilogue. Also, the writer doesn't give a lot of details in explaining what the Nightmare Forces are, and how exactly Luna was corrupted, and how much control, if any, she had while she was Nightmare Moon. But then again, abrupt climaxes and vague villain details tend to be a running tradition in Friendship is Magic. So I guess one could say at least they're being faithful to the show's storytelling style? In closing, IDW's Nightmare arc comes highly recommended to fans of the show. In fact, IDW's comic series in general comes highly recommended. Not only because it's quality material, but because it does what any good expanded universe should do. Take pre-established and unexplained elements from the source material and, expands on it. The comic's first arc gave us more info on the Changelings. This arc fleshed out Luna as a character while giving an origin to Nightmare Moon. And while I'm on the topic of expanded universes, G.M. Burrell's novel delved into Twilight's thoughts post-princesshood and gave an origin for Cadence, while her second book is going to be focused on Pinkie Pie's strained relationship with her family. So yeah, if you're calling yourself a brony and you have yet to check these out, you're doing yourself a real disservice. Hey, do you like this video? Then do me a favor and click that like button. And if you're not subscribed, then do that too. Oh, and make sure you also check out these other MLP related videos, because they're totally cool. Okay, maybe I'm a little biased.